Well, hello. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining Reinvention Made Simple Daily this day. Excited to be connecting with you here. Thanks for making the time to come and grow, develop, and just build your capacity as a leader as you reinvent yourself. Just before I got onto this call, I was thinking about where exactly did my reinvention journey start? How did I begin reinventing myself? What were the triggers? And one of the things I actually realized is that I never set off on a reinvention journey. It's not like I said, okay, today's Wednesday morning, whatever the day was, and today I'm starting to reinvent myself. That's not how it happened. It's actually that in life I was making twists and turns and making decisions and shifting from one path onto another path, holding the image of where I wanted to go, whatever it is that I wanted to do, whoever I wanted to become, and in constant, focus on that particular image that I desire of my life to be about. I looked back after a couple of years and I said, wait, I reinvented myself through this entire process. And that is what my desire, that's what my desire is. That as you come onto these sessions, you will find an insight, an awareness, and an aha to help you as you navigate your reinvention journey. I know you're taking the next step. I know you're taking the next step. And I know that you need to step into that space from a heightened level of awareness. And that's what I want to teach you even as you go through this journey. For those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome. We're here every day from 1:30 to 2 p.m. East African time. My name is Benjamin Kamoye, and I'm certified as a coach, a speaker, as a trainer. My purpose in life is to raise a generation of leaders. And for me to do that, I help leaders reinvent themselves for impact and income. And as I go through that, there are three main pillars. I call them the 3 M's of reinvention. And the first one is to master. Master what? Master your brilliance. Master your genius code. Master who you are and what you're good at and what you are created to do. Master that. That's the key thing. Master that, because out here in the market, you're being sought after for something. You're being sought after for your expertise, for your knowledge. You're being sought after for the gifts, the value, as I call it, that you bring to the table. So you need to master that. And then the second thing then is to manifest it. How do you bring it out into the world? This brilliance that you have, these things that you do, and people say, wow, you're so brilliant. You want to manifest it out into the world. You don't want to die as the best kept secret from all creation and everybody in the world. You want to be at the highest platform, delivering to the kings in your industry, having maximum impact. And that's where the impact actually comes in the reinvention journey. The third M is to monetize that brilliance. That's what I help you to do, to really say, okay, this is my craft. This is my gift. This is the value that I bring to spaces and situations. How do I monetize this? Who needs what I have? And how much money do I want to earn from this? We have to talk about money. We have to talk about how are you going to sustainably continue to serve and also meet the different obligations that you have in life. How do you do that? In my journey, and I talked about this in another session, I have met people who have great potential, but they're broke. Great potential. Everybody's looking for what you have, but you're broke. And it's because there was an overemphasis on developing the gift, getting good at something, but we never spend time to ask, how do I monetize this and put this into the market? That's an entire industry. And that's why you find artists. That's why you find, people who are gifted. They have the business arm of managing that talent, managing that gift, selling it to the world and positioning it. It's about monetization. And as you go through your reinvention journey, you need to have the visibility of these three M's. Am I mastering my craft? Am I manifesting that craft? And am I monetizing that craft? We'll talk about another M that I have been reflecting on a couple of times in the last 1 or 2 weeks. And it's about multiplication of your brilliance. How do you multiply your brilliance? That's the fourth M. And it's just coming to me. I'm just receiving it as we go through the journey. Thanks to all of you who are joining us. Let's get into it, because today I want to begin what is, for the next 8 weeks, going to be a deep dive in the first M, which is to master your brilliance. If you're going to reinvent yourself in this gig economy, if you're going to reinvent yourself and earn your worth and impact the world, you've got to master your brilliance. And your brilliance is not like this gold mine where you dig and then you find it and there's nothing left after that. No, your brilliance is unlimited. Your brilliance is connected to your potential, and it's unlimited. And as you go through life, you're constantly mastering more and more of what your brilliance is, and understanding the gifts that are coming alongside what it is that you do that people find brilliant. So let's dive into today's session as we talk about mastery of your brilliance. Mastery of your brilliance begins with a premise and a philosophy that I have enjoyed for a long time. And this is the key philosophy. You are a tool. Yes, you heard that right. You are a tool. Think about a toolbox. If you open a toolbox, you're going to find a spanner, pair of scissors, pliers, screwdriver, bolt, whatever. There's so many tools inside the toolbox. You also are a tool. Like a saw, you're a tool. Like a hammer, you're a tool. Like this device that I'm using to record and to have the world see my message, that's a tool. The tripod upon which it is standing, it is a tool. And the entire studio setup here is just filled with different tools. Tools that fulfill a specific purpose. Tools that are equipped. Tools that are wired to deliver what it is that I bought them for. And now when we come to mastering your brilliance, this is a core principle in you understanding that I am a tool. Because it is in understanding that you are a tool that you take the next step, which is identifying which tool you are. Because the moment you identify which tool you are, you understand what powers you to excel. And when you define what powers you to excel, you, my friend, are already on the path of mastering that brilliance and then manifesting it out into the world. I remember when I began my reinvention journey, and I've talked about this just here shortly, it's not that I wanted to reinvent myself. I was in pursuit of a goal and an outcome and a desire that I had in my life. And so what I did is I began to actually break down and unpack what it is that I actually do well. And I took a manila paper and I wrote down on that manila all the different things I did. I was shooting videos at church. I was playing drums in church. I was editing videos at some point. I was running an advertising agency. I was doing promotional items. I was doing graphic design. I was selling suits. I had already started coaching, speaking, and training and doing that, with an associate organization. I was in a network marketing company. I was always in front of people doing presentations. And I looked at all those things and I said, wow, Benjamin, you're busy. There's just so much that you're doing. Yes, I am a tool. Yes, I get it that I'm gifted and I can do all these things. But I asked myself, what powers me to excel? What powers me to do all these things? What powers me to become a videographer? What powers me to become a DJ? I had a PA system and I used it to earn money when I had left employment and I needed to continue to take care of my obligations. I bought a PA system and I was a DJ from time to time. I would be in weddings and I'd play music. I mean, nothing serious. Just take virtual DJ and put a couple of songs and play around with the software there and create an experience. And I made money from that, in my days as a youth. I was not married at that time, but I needed to make some money. That's over 11, 13 years ago, 15 years ago. And the question that I asked myself is, wait a minute. What powered me to excel when I got to this moment and I wanted to really find out, what am I? because I was so many things to so many people. And that's the problem. Because I found myself, and when I look back now, I found that not only did I position myself to be abused, but I also positioned myself to be misused. Because I was everything to everyone. And because I could do it to some extent, because it was leaning on one of my many gifts. Everybody said, Benjamin is going to do that. Benjamin is good at this. He's going to do that. Let's get Benjamin to do this. Let's have Benjamin do it. And I was stretched thin. I was in every place, doing so much, never asking the question, what tool am I? What tool am I? And how does being that tool power me to excel? What are the gifts? What are the skills? What are the abilities? What are the competencies? What are the resources that are within me? What is the talent that powers me to excel? And that is the first question that you must be able to answer if you are going to master your brilliance. Because when you do what you do and it comes out great, people say, wow, that's brilliant. Master that by knowing what powers it to excel. Are we together? Very good. Having talked about that, let me unpack for you the 3 ways that you need to master in order for you to master your brilliance. 3 ways to identify. 3 ways to identify your brilliance. The first one, and I'm going to talk about this more in the next session, is a leadership timeline. A leadership timeline. I normally do this with my clients when we're beginning our coaching journey. And what we do is we pick a big sheet of paper and we write down the years from the date of birth to the current date. The years only, not the days, just the years only. So if you were born in 1990, 1980, 1970, 1965, we're going to write 1965, 66, 67, all the way to 2021. And then we're going to go through that and identify the things that you did, that you accomplished, and you had a win at a high level, and to plot those different items onto the timeline. You see, it's a timeline. It's got dates from the beginning all the way to the end. We're just plotting the different things that you did in what year, in what organization, and for how long you did that. One of the documents that I use in guiding my coachees through that process is their CV. Because mostly when we write a CV, it's normally a document that is sent out to employers and people that want to work with you, in order for them to understand what do you do well, and when did you do it, and what were the roles and responsibilities that you held at different points in your life. And so always print your CV, because when you have your CV with you, it's easy to pick these things because you already have them on paper, instead of trying to remember, oh, what did I do? Where did I do it? And once you plot all those things, the next question that normally comes up is, what skill or competence powered you to accomplish this? What skill or competence powered you to accomplish whatever it is that you've accomplished? And there you will begin to find competencies such as creativity, communicator, analytical. You'll find synthesizer. A whole range of adjectives describing a skill, a competence that is required to deliver on those things that you say you did that are in your CV. The next thing to look at is, what is the frequency that this skill, talent, or ability shows up in my leadership timeline? Is it a dependable strength, as we call it? Is it the strength that has called you to sail from where you were to where you are today? Because then if it is a key pillar in your brilliance narrative. It is what powers you to excel. I often share this in my coaching sessions with clients, that you are not a title on a business card. You're not a title on a business card. What you actually are is a tool gifted with skills and abilities to deliver on something. So your business card may say that you're a salesman. That's not what you are. That's what you do. Who you are could be a communicator. Who you are could be, creative. who you are could be synthesizer. That's who you are. Salesman is what you do. If you shift that salesman and go and do presentations on top of a stage in front of 100, 200,000 people, the creativity, the communicator gift kicks in and it powers you to excel. And that is how I began my reinvention journey. Again, not calling it reinvention, but really seeking to step into a fullness of the gifts and abilities that are within me. And so when I wrote down all the things that I did, one of the things that came up is that, hey, in my timeline, I saw that creativity was a big thing. When I was shooting and capturing video content, I was using creativity. I mean, I was like a natural. Whenever I sat down and I began to edit, creativity. When I opened my advertising agency and I was the lead designer, creativity. Not stuff I went to school for, but I did it very well. Whenever it is that I sat down and I began to think about strategy for communications with clients and how to put out their messaging when they're doing billboards or doing flyers or doing all this kind of communication material, I was relying on my creativity. When I sat down to play the drums and I had never been to a music school, I was leaning on my creativity. And I saw that creativity was a big theme in my life. When I sat down to design presentations and to design proposals and to design PowerPoint slides for my coaching and training business that I just started at that time, I was leaning on my creativity. So if you asked me who I am, at that point, I could have said, hey, I'm a trainer, I'm a graphic designer. I was so many things, but I was leaning on one main gift, which is creativity. And that's who I am. The second gift that I leaned on most is communication. When I was in this network marketing company, I was quickly identified as the master presenter. I would get on stage and I would really walk the crowd. Hey, everybody, welcome here today. It's the gift that I'm using today as you're listening to me, getting in front of people, speaking, engaging, using my communication skills. Now, I fused creativity and communication and boom, created some brilliance in every space that I went into. Those are the skills that power me to excel. Those are the skills that power me to excel. So what powers you to excel? Because you need to master that. You need to master that. The moment I knew that creativity and communication are the two skills that power me to excel, I invested in them. I sharpened my creativity. I sharpened my communication. I took on my certification with the John Maxwell team and I learned from John and I sat with John and I understood how John, who is at the top of the world in terms of leadership, communication and coaching and training, is at. And I said, I want to be there. I want to learn from you. And I invested time. I invested money. I invested sweat to learn, to practice, to master my brilliance. Before we even get into manifesting it and monetizing it, which is what eventually now I am doing, I had to start with mastering it. And that is my challenge to you. Master your brilliance. Identify what powers you to excel. In 70% of the coaching conversations that I have with majority of our clients, executives, the moment you ask them this question, who are you? Who are you? There's always a struggle to answer that question. And when the few who try to answer that question try to answer it, they always answer it by telling me what they do. They tell me what they do. Or they define themselves in relation to a relationship that they have with someone. For example, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a son, I'm a daughter, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, and all that. Quite unnecessary. That's not who you are. Because there's who you are before you are a mother, brother, sister. Relationships are not really the core of who we are when it comes to our identity. Our identity has existed. It existed long before in God when we were still a concept in his mind. And because he's our creator and we are a concept of his creativity, that concept was later conceived through your mom, And now we're only seeing a product. We're seeing a product. We're seeing a tool that has come from God. So the question to really ask and answer is, what powers me to excel? Or what I'm saying, what tool am I? What tool am I? What do I deliver? What do I bring to the table? And if you're going to then reinvent yourself into this career, into this future, if you're going to monetize your brilliance, if you're going to be sought after, you will not be sought after for something that you're poor at. You'll be sought after for something that you're good at, for something that only you are a master in. And I hold this philosophy and believe it to be true, that if I am a number 2, and on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being perfection and excellence, if I score 20% on a gift like accounting, if I put in time and effort and labor, I could probably really rise from a 20% to even a 50%. That's a huge jump. And that's a lot of work. I could jump maybe even to a 60%, and I've given it my all. Numbers and spreadsheets and accounting, I've given it my all. I've moved from a 20% and I've moved to a 60%. Oh my goodness, I'm really good at it. Now, think about somebody who's already at a 60%. They just have a knack for numbers. You know, it's part of who they are. It's part of their analytical mind. That's how they've been wired. That's what powers them to excel. If they put in the same amount of effort that I put to move from a 20% to a 60%, a 40% jump, if they put the same amount of effort, what would they become? Nothing less than world class. Because if they're already a 60 and a 70% without doing anything, they're gifted. There's a bias on their life to become that person. And they put in the same amount of effort I put, they're going to move from 60 to 70 to 80, 100, world class. They're going to be sought out. And now we'll never be able to compete with them. Equally, as a communicator, I knew that I already was gifted as a communicator. I mean, in terms of, even when I did not practice, I'm probably playing at a 70%, I'm already like good. Zero practice required. What about when I began to put in the time to master communication, to master persuasion, to master the principles of being an effective public speaker, and I do the work and I certify and I learn from the masters and I practice and I practice and I practice and I put in the effort, I want to be world class. So identifying where it is that you're actually already gifted in, you're already great in those areas. I'm a creative communicator. Those are two things I do not struggle at all to do. Any day, I'm going to beat a guy who's gone to school, starting from a level 1, maybe to a level 4. I'm going to beat them any day. Why? Because I'm operating in my gift zone. I'm operating in my sweet spot. I just need to put a little effort and boom, I'm world class. And that is the brilliance that I would love for you to master. Master that brilliance and really identify, what do I bring to the table? So the next time that I ask you, who are you? You don't tell me I'm a banker, I'm a salesman, I'm an engineer. What is that? Tell me who you are. Tell me who you are as a tool that is powered by certain expertise. Identify what powers you to excel. Identify what powers your genius. Identify what powers your brilliance. That is my message. That is my message. Beyond the education and beyond all the certifications, go beneath the surface and say, by the way, what powers me to excel? What makes me so good at what it is that I do? What is the skill beneath the surface? Because that's who you are. And that's how you master your brilliance before then you begin to manifest it out here into the world. All right. Again, I am so excited to support you through the journey of defining who you are, the tool that you are. And by the way, I actually say it wrongly. It's not defining, it's discovering. It's identifying, it's discovering really who you are. Send me an email. Let's begin a conversation, reinvention@kamoye.com. Reinvention@kamoye.com. Just throw an email and I'm going to get to it. I'll listen in. I'll listen into where you are through the email, and I'll support you through your journey. And the two ways that you can begin to actually work with me is begin by taking the Inner Circle membership opportunity that is on the table. That's once a month for 90 minutes. You come on a call with me live, and I'm going to answer your questions based on where you are and what you're trying to do and where you want to go. That's available, and it's only at $10. But begin by sending an email to reinvention@kamoye.com. I want to give you next steps on what exactly to do and when to join us at what time and more information. But for now, I want you to stay tuned. Next week, I'm going to be here again as we talk about this whole concept. Every single day, 1:30 to 2 p.m., we're talking about reinvention, and it's made simple daily. And I'm here to support you through your journey. Thank you for your time. I'm glad that you joined us today. See you tomorrow. Bless you, be well, and bye for now.